Yeah, la. You might as well loop that a little bit, Steve. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's today's date? June 5th, 2020. Interesting day. Right. It's trending today. Lady G, some other shit. Like, it's wild. Every day is just worse, right? You know? Fuck it. Alright, let me go. La, okay. Who black, who not? I know you mad, they mad, they not. We the sports and the music, do the math, we the culture. And I gotta ask of you, what have you brought? Look, this attaboy that made me an astronaut. I try to watch the news, but I'm lashing out. My daughter seen the murder on cellular phone. And that was not on purpose, was ordering truth. Okay, they mad, they high. Thinking the bad is better than having some heart. Okay, look now, look how they running. They beating white people down just to show us what's coming. Or to show us we nothing. Or to show us we only welcome when singing or balling. Niggas shut up and dribble. Or shut up, perform for them cause they hold all the money. I won't hold you, we got the power, they finally notice. Yeah, America is lost, these are the results. I check in with God, my passion be gone. Wasn't asking for nothing, just compassion is all. Not spectacular fashion, how we addressing you all. I always been hated, I never been soft. And the day I don't say shit, my melanin gone. We ain't never been perfect, but this family all. Yo America, tuck your shirt and your devil is showing. Okay, who black, who not? I know they mad, the devil get high. With the sports, with the music, do the math, with the culture. And I gotta ask someone, what have you brought? Okay, who black, who not? I know you mad, they not. With the sports and the music, do the math, who the culture. And I gotta ask of you, what have you brought? Yeah, what have you brought? These are the results. Have you brought? Quick story. Karen got a problem, and 12 won't solve it. They favorite rapper from Atlanta, they ain't part of the problem, but Karen want attention. Don't care about the artist, so Karen in her feelings, we made Wendy's a new target. Rest in peace for Shar.
I don't give a damn if they burn down Target, because Target should be on the street.
Somebody pop all day, hold up. Somebody on their way, hold up. I would've grown all day, hold up. Somebody killed me. Black Panther. Stay down with no faking, go up. She wild and dangerous. Go up. My crowd in rotation. Yeah. Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet? Wait. Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet? I live on 10. Wait. Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet? Fuck the place up. 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 Fuck the place up.
Fuck up and down, come tear the shit down. I see double cups on you now. Over, yo, get down. Got Benjamin Franklin pills on my teeth, I know more. So drop from your jungle. I keep the piece on me, I leave you puzzle. Get too chill, ring, I'm not been caught on my knee, longer than hair on her. You know my back cavity, and I'm higher than her dad's salary. Saudi, are you on 10 yet? Pussy ain't smoking, you know Papa's in nice. Papa's ain't got 10 knees. You so trust you looking for me like I want the tissue, I'm dreaming. Somebody all the fingers swallow all these children. In my Achilles heel, yeah. I'll raise you to 100 million.
Somebody pop all day, hold up.
Somebody on their way, hold up.
I would've grown all day, hold up.
Somebody killed me, hold up.
Stay down with no faking, go up.
Go up.
She wild and dangerous.
Go up.
My crowd in rotation. Yeah. Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet? Wait. Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet? I live on 10. Wait. Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet? Fuck the place up. 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 Fuck the place up.
Are you on 10 yet? Hold up. Do you have him yet? Jury on Windex. Woo. 80 my Rolex. Might make back the Benz. Pseudo coming out. Black on black again. I might go to trim. I been built to win. I don't exit here. Too much flexing here. Go. Too much bread to get. I've been stretching up. Ain't no catching up. I don't rest enough. I don't plan for luck, I keep working hard, who keep blessing us, I'm on a 10 and I need a 10. Nigga done made him a M a week. Nigga December been good to me. Not even Kendrick can humble me. Nigga too rich to go do the least. Tryna become a way bigger meat. Nigga my teeth is like 10 apiece. TDE family the Genevieve. Her tits a C cup, her ass a A+. I got my grades up, I had no backup. Now run the check up, and brought the place up,
Somebody pop all day, hold up. Somebody on their way, hold up. I with a crown all day, hold up. Somebody can't relate, hold up. Stay down with no faking, go up. Down, go up. She wild, I'm in dangerous, go up. My crowd in rotation, yeah. On 10.
I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, I know. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, I know. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, I know. Say her name. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, I know. Say her name. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, say her name. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, say her name. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, say her name. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, say her name. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, say her name. I know they're watching, ancestors watching. I know they're watching, say her name.
Ready for the war, we got our boots strapped. 100 deep on State Street where the troops at. The mayor line say didn't see the video footage, and everybody wanna know where the truth at. On the south side where it's no trauma centers but the most trauma. A lot of cannons but you don't want no drama. I can't imagine if it was my own mama. Got her firstborn son stole from her. He never had a chance and we all know it's cause he black. Shot him 16 times, how fucked up is that? Now the police superintendent wanna double back. Cops speeding up to the block like a running back. Tension is high, man, these niggas is irate. You can see it in their eyes, they wanna violate. Screaming out, oink, oink, bang, bang, gang, 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 gang. Murder, 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 they mind state. I just made me a meal and still militant. This ain't conscious rap, this shit ignorant, nigga, hair trigger. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
When I caught back, police better run.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
16 shots, and we bucking back 16 shots. 16 shots, and we bucking back 16 shots. They threw a little girl down on the pavement. Pushed her with a bike and said, stay out the way, bitch. She was bleeding on the ground through her braces. This what happen when niggas don't stay in their places. The mayor dumping waiting fired the superintendent. But resignation come with bonuses and recognition. So we gon' break into stores on Magnificent Mile. And if we gotta go, let's go to prison in style. Cops killing kids and staying out of jail. But Bobby Schmurder can't even catch bail. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I got everybody yelling out for 12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
16 shots, and we bucking back 16 shots. 16 shots, and we bucking back 16 shots.
There's a war on drugs, but the drugs keep running in. There's a war on guns, but the guns keep ringing.
Me and Lord got a clip with an extendo, and we rolling with it hanging out the window. We on 16th riding by the police station. We might make a pork rind out of pig, bro. Somebody tell these motherfuckers keep their hands off me. I ain't a motherfucking slave, keep your chains off me. You better hope this 9mm jam on me or get blown. I hope you got your body cam turned on. Fuck a black cop too, that's the same fight. You got a badge, bitch, but you still ain't white. This for Laquan on sight. When you see Van Dyke, tell him I don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
16 shots, and we bucking back 16 shots. 16 shots, and we bucking back 16 shots.
There's a war on drugs, but the drugs keep running in. There's a war on guns, but the guns keep ringing. Singing.
Hey y'all, we are back live again to continue the series of how do we win, and what that looks like to end money bail and pretrial detention, incarceration, all of that stuff. And for our last series today, we're going to be talking about the work that community bail funds do. So we have Jess from the Louisville Community Bail Fund I'm adding in now, and they're going to be talking with us about the work that community bail funds do, because I mean, they're really doing the work, and Jess is going to detail that for us. Hey, Jess.
Hey.
I'm going to go in a different room, but thank you so much for joining us today, Jess. Can you hear me okay now, Jess?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Jess is going to talk a little bit about the work that community bail funds do in ending pretrial detention and money bail.
Thank you. So I am Jess. Pronouns are they, she. I am with the Louisville Community Bail Fund. I work as an organizer and an abolitionist within the bail fund, supporting people who are attempting to navigate their lives after being released. So first of all, what is a community bail fund? A community bail fund is exactly what it sounds like. It is community members who have come together and have found ways outside of the nonprofit industrial complex in bold and innovative ways to make sure that we keep abolition at the forefront as we support our community members who are navigating the cash bail system. Our community bail fund in particular is one that focuses on the individual holistically. So when our folks get out, we want to make sure that we're contacting families. We want to make sure that we sit down with them and that we formulate what's called a support plan. A support plan details, the type of support and any triggers or stressors that might be present in community bail and our community members who have been released from pretrial detention. The thing that sets our community bail fund apart from other community bail funds or even other more institutionalized or formalized community bail funds is that we crowdfund and we fundraise ourselves for every dollar that we have. Being able to not operate outside of the nonprofit industrial complex allows us to do some creative and bold things for the community members that we serve, making sure that we assist them and encourage them in participating in self-care, making sure that we hear the family's needs, making sure that we approach things with a restorative and a transformative justice lens. So making sure that the solutions that we have to assist these community members isn't one that's punitive or carceral. In particular, we really pride ourselves on just taking some bold and innovative steps to meet folks' needs. We recently did a Black Mamas Bailout that we participated in with a number of other community bail funds nationwide, and being able to see the excitement around that and seeing how people really rally together for these Black moms. One of the things that we amplified at the time was letting folks know, like, we got the bail. We fundraised for the bail. We appreciate folks' participation in helping us to fundraise the bail. What can you do to help pull up for those moms? And that really speaks to the grassroots level of these community bail funds, making sure that the community is a part of folks who were once disappeared from them and were held from them on cash bail, and making sure that the community is a part not only in bringing them home, but supporting them when they're home It really is a group effort. And if we ask for $1 or a ride or any other type of things to make our community members feel seen while they're navigating this process, it's because we want to involve people in this process. I think that folks look at the bail system as something that is beyond them, but if we're honest with ourselves, we know someone who has been affected by the cash bail system. Today is Kalief Browder. It should have been Kalief Browder's 28th birthday. You know, Kalief was taken from us and disappeared to Rikers Island at the age of, I believe it was 19, and held there. And it wasn't until he was allowed to come home that folks really started to understand what that system looks like. But being held for 2 years, for 2 months, for 2 days, really without due process is a crime in and of itself. So community bail funds attempt to highlight not only the inhumanity of the system as far as cash bail is concerned, but making sure that the community members that we help also have an understanding of what abolition plays in the role to get them home. So again, you think about money bail, right? And what is money bail? It's money that you have to put up to get someone out of jail. I want to emphasize that these are not people who have been on trial necessarily. There's not even necessarily people who might have been indicted on charges. We know community members who have been stuck in the jail that are out now, but were stuck in the jail for several months because they could not afford the bail. And the cash bail system really is just an arm of capitalism. When you think about it, we're being forced to participate in a system that says that in order for you to be free from whatever our understanding of the crime that you committed is, you have to pay for your freedom. I want y'all to know that that is not an easy process either. In addition to fundraising, we also provide jail and bail support for folks. So once you pay bail, you have to wait. And you would think that with the jail just being the size that it is and with technology being the way that it is, that folks, you know, after you pay for it, they can come right out. But it can take hours for people to be released from that system. It's just a reminder that the system can enact whatever power that it wants to, simply to say that it did. There's no sense of urgency or efficiency with it. We have community members that have been held in solitary confinement for several days, weeks, or months, just like Kalief was. And we think about what that does to people. Not only are you isolated from the outside world, but you're also isolated from the community members on the inside. So you don't have any type of updates from other people who might have spoken with their family members or with other community members in regards to what's going on.
Just take a minute there too to just highlight some of the same demands we've been asking for this entire time. And one of them has to do with the BREATHE Act and what you just mentioned about solitary confinement, which is ending solitary confinement. Although we want the entire prison system, of course, to be abolished, the small wins matter too. And so like simple things like ending solitary confinement, especially for juveniles, like these are children who are being put into solitary confinement by themselves, like while they're still growing and becoming people, and that's being hindered by the carceral state. So I think it's just important. I'm going to add in the take action link here, because the one thing we are asking people is like to take action for Kalief Browder. He would have been 28 today. Today is also the day that George Floyd was murdered just a year ago, and we haven't seen shit change like at all. Let's be real. And we've been asking for the same thing for years now. But we've been amplifying them over and over again and still haven't gotten them. So I want to make sure that we're still amplifying that too. I put it at the bottom. You should see it going across the screen, but you guys can take action that way. There's sample tweets, sample Facebook posts, hashtags, all the information you need to get your congressional reps, local, state, all of those involved to support the BREATHE Act and to end, incarceration for Black people. So go ahead, Jess. I know we have a few more questions for you.
No, you're good. I actually appreciate you uplifting the BREATHE Act. It's 128 pages. I'm still working through it, but it really is a comprehensive bill. If you're someone who really likes to dig into the weeds of things and dig into the details, I would definitely suggest doing it. It mentions everything from, like Amber said, ending solitary confinement and especially lifting up that youth element to making sure that our indigenous population and community members have first rights to say no to public land that's for sale. So it really is a comprehensive, inclusive bill so far that I'm seeing, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it and becoming more familiar with it so that we can really implement it into some of the work that we're doing and continue to teach our community members and let them know that this really is a comprehensive program that we run at our community bail fund. I think that's one of the things that I enjoy working at the bail fund the most, is seeing how we really teach people from beginning to end what part of the process they're in. I think it's one thing to go to people and be like, hey, I posted your bail, here's a referral, the very best of luck, and to kind of default into some of those corporate work trends maybe that we would have in other spaces, because a lot of us have come from corporate spaces. But to sit down with someone and to not only make sure that they have access to those resources, but also that they understand what role they're playing in these systems and how these systems are attempting to not only exploit, any assistance that they might need, but exploit their Black and brown bodies in addition to that. So I love that we have teaching opportunities with our bail fund. We talk to our community members about abolition. We talk to their family members about abolition. We help them understand that as your family member is navigating, this process, that it is a part of a wider system, and that the system at hand is one that has to be abolished in order for people to reach their greatest potential.
Yeah, that's a key one. And it's also something I like about the Breathe Act, is because they put very specific things in the bill about forcing the government to look for non-punitive, community-led solutions for safety that do exist, that people are practicing in other places, like at Spirit House in Durham, North Carolina, or in New York, where they practice like not using bail to see how that would work. Like, this has been occurring in other places. There are places who have ended money bail or who don't give bail to like misdemeanors and certain types of offenses. So it's very doable. And that's one of the things I really liked about the Breathe Act in general.
Agreed.
I know we had a few more questions. Jess, did we talk about what specifically LCBF does?
What don't we do? LCBF is a really comprehensive organization. We're a really comprehensive community bail fund. We offer jail support, bail support, transportation assistance, support plans. We do community referrals with an understanding that we're working with partners who not only support emotional intelligence and cultural competency, but that also are abolition focused, making sure that the community partners that we do work with are principled and intentional in the work that they're doing, and making sure that we're always checking to reduce or mitigate any harm that might be done during this process. It's not an easy process to do. Communicating with lawyers, communicating with community members, communicating with families is an ongoing job. We don't get to clock in and out of abolition. It really is a round-the-clock duty that we pledge to. So as we're making sure that community members that we've assisted with bailout have what they need, we're also making sure that folks feel additional support. And support could be anything from a phone call, just to hear from someone, to hear how they're doing, to doing restorative chats with a family that needs to resolve some conflict that has arisen because their loved one has been disappeared into this system. We also do teach-ins. We have a volunteer drive that's coming up that I'm really excited about, because I really want to get folks connected to this work, y'all. If you have even just an hour a week that you can volunteer, we need to get this hotline up and running and make sure that our community members who are on the inside are being heard from. One of the things that we're probably most proud about that we're seeking to build out is the hotline. The hotline is not only a way for folks to call if they have been arrested or seeking assistance with bail, but it's something that community members on the inside can call and either speak to someone with additional staffing that will be doing, or leave a message in regards to the conditions of the jail. So it allows us to be current on trends that are going on that, the jail wouldn't otherwise report on, because truthfully, we live in a punitive and carceral focused society. So folks are really interested on harm that's being done to those that are incarcerated, even if that is pretrial detention. They haven't yet been charged formally or been convicted formally in any capacity. because we believe that harm should be perpetuated instead of erased. So we're having a volunteer call out in early June. I believe it's June 5th. It's a way for folks to get connected, to all types of work. If you want to work the hotline for an hour, we got you. If you want to do data entry, we got you. If you want to do jail support, I got to do jail support a couple of weeks ago for the Black Mama bailout. And that was, interesting to see because, again, I think that folks think that, you just drop off the money for the bail and that your loved one comes out. But it really is a process. You have to make sure that you have proper identification with you, that you go to the right window, that you're aware of all charges that the person is facing in the state, and that you've checked any surrounding or other counties to make sure that there aren't any additional charges or accompanying fees for those charges. And then you sit and wait, and the waiting really is a time of reflection, getting to reflect on how you're connected to this work and how this work has grown from early abolitionists like Harriet Tubman and Ida B. Wells. So it's exciting, and we really want to get people connected to this work. You said what?
Don't tell nobody, but I might have cried a little bit when I was doing my reflection and waiting.
It's emotional. It is absolutely emotional. You think about, our understanding of residency and citizenship, which also has been institutionalized because on stolen land, none of us are illegal, especially our undocumented friends. But you think about the things that Black and brown folks and Indigenous folks have had to do in this country in order to prove our citizenship, in order to prove that we belong. And it really starts to connect the dots when you're waiting for a community member to be released from pretrial detention, how you have to basically buy back people's freedom. And it takes you back to a time that, we wouldn't think that otherwise existed or that we would have access to. But this is where we are, and this is where we're going to be until we end cash bail and dismantle these systems fully.
I wholeheartedly agree. There was a lizard and I was afraid. Sorry, I'm back. But I wholeheartedly agree. I never thought about it that way actually with the residency part. But that's very true. I think like most people, we all struggle with like our identity and being here. And then also what we experience as Black people, it's a lot. So one of the other questions we had was about how will ending money bail save lives? And I kind of asked everybody this, but I just want to hear your answer.
It'll restore dignity to families. I think that if you attach a monetary value to things, that it automatically forces people to engage desperate capitalist ways. I can think of times as being a young adult and not having kids, not having anything except for rent and a car note, and not being able to make ends meet. And the things that I had to engage at the time were things out of desperation. Having to go to payday loans, having to go to family members or friends and entering into, a financially unsatisfactory or even abusive situations. And so when you add additional factors in there, say someone is wrestling or navigating their mental health status, someone who might have a compromised citizenship status, someone who might be immunocompromised, somebody who might be elderly, someone who has kids and is poor or is working class, it amplifies those risks, and it amplifies any desperation that might be present in there. Whereas before, you might have only been trying to borrow money to pay rent or a car note or to put some groceries in it. Now there's an expectation of community members that you have access to who might also be in the same class as you are also poor, are also working class, are also navigating mental health and those things. And it draws on resources, quite frankly, that just aren't there. So ending it allows us to restore dignity to our community members, and it's something that really is vital. And when we talk about ending cash bail and abolition, it's not replacing one punitive system with another punitive carceral system. we're not saying in cash bail, to put in, these assessment tools that assess risk and say, okay, this person needs to be held until their risk goes down, and they can't, exit these four walls until that risk goes down. Well, that's assigning value to people, and it really just kind of reinforces the chattel slavery system that our prisons were founded under. We cannot treat each other as enslaved community members and expect that people will be able to exit out of that system with dignity.
Because I'm not nobody.
People who are incarcerated deserve dignity. Those who have harmed others still deserve dignity. And that's something that is missing from the punitive carceral system in the US.
I totally agree. Also, I'm not nobody's slave, so I'm always ready to bug the system. But I do agree. I think that people don't even think about that a lot too. Just the fact that it will restore dignity, because you are literally putting a number on someone's head. And going back to the Breathe Act and just pushing that legislation, one of the biggest reasons why I liked it is something that you said, is not replacing a punitive system with another punitive system. No, we are asking for non-punitive, community-led safety practices and protocols that can be used in our communities, because realistically, we do keep us safe. And when we are given the chance and the opportunity and provide the resources that we need, we keep ourselves safe. So it's not necessary. And that's one of the main things that I like about the Breathe Act, is that they really uplift that and also kind of reaffirm communities like ideals to want to keep themselves safe and having the tools and resources to do it.
Right.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on this live. Before we hop off, I do want to just highlight the volunteer link scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
Volunteer, y'all. Come on and volunteer. You know you want to volunteer, come on and do it. I promise you, if all you have is an hour a week, we can use you. And that hour a week, when we talk about, paying reparations, and we talk about supporting Black women and femmes who are really leading and driving this moment, that hour of labor that you can devote to this takes an hour of labor off of a Black woman in film, so that we can either focus on another community member in need and or focus on ourselves. Every minute allows me an extra minute of sleep, allows me an extra minute with a community member who really could be in need, allows us to have energy to be able to crowdfund and fundraise and think of creative and bold and innovative ways to meet folks' needs outside of these systems. So if you think that, the time that you might have to give isn't enough, apply, send in an inquiry anyway, and we can find a way to plug you into this work, so together we're going to get free.
Exactly. What do you guys say, Jess? To freedom?
To freedom, and by any means.
That part. All right. Thank y'all for joining us for this series today, as we celebrated Kalief Browder's birthday, but also commemorated the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder, and how we can take action to end money bail, because that's really going to get us free. So I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day, and I hope y'all have some Black joy tonight.